What's going on, everyone? This is ODC, it's me, and I'm here with a little bit of a different video. This is a comparison video of the regular release and the bootleg release of Darth Maul, and how to kind of tell the differences between the bootlegs and the regular releases outside of the packaging. As far as the packaging does go, I'll get to that in a second. I will do a little brief kind of a how to tell the difference between the two. But as far as outside of the packaging, there are a few things that you can do to tell if you have a bootleg or if you have an original. As far as you can see here, the face sculpts look pretty similar. So, I mean, it's not... Might be a little bit of difference in the nose, but as far as head sculpts go, I think it's a pretty spot on. The first thing that I can see that I could notice right out of packaging was the obvious different paint that this guy has. This is the bootleg here, and this is the original release. The bootleg has a little bit of a darker red going throughout his head. Also, the design is a little bit different, as you can see here. I'll try to get rid of some of this glare. There's too much. So, as you can see right here, the start of the tattoo, I'll just call it a tattoo, or the design on his head, is a little bit different on the Hasbro release, as opposed to that. As you can see, the lines are up here. These lines are lower. The spikes on his head, though, they look pretty similar. Also, his upper torso looks pretty similar as well. The gloves look pretty good. A little bit of a paint. It almost looks like he was painted like this, stuck in this frontward pose, because when you hike him back, there's a little bit of a dip in paint right there, where the original release doesn't have any of that inconsistency. As far as this material goes, as far as his soft goods underneath, I'd say they're pretty much on par with each other. But now we start getting into the big differences here. Now, the first difference is the head. The way the head sits on the shoulders. It sits much better on the original release than the bootleg. And then you have, when you pop the head off, here is the biggest difference here. It's just a ball peg. Whereas the original release had a ball peg and a hinge joint, as you can see right there. This just has a ball peg, so you can't really get the posability as far as his head goes with this. I mean, he can still move his head up a little bit. I mean, if you move it up too much, like right there, it's going to pop off. But looking down, he can look down nicely. You can pivot side to side. And we got a little bit of jive turkey. A little. As far as the arms go, they're pretty much the same. They're on that ball hinge joint. And full range of motion, pretty much the same as the regular release. Also, there is a swivel and the... Is there a swivel? Huh. Oh yeah, there's the swivel. The other one might just be frozen. And they're pretty much on par with each other as far as the arms. The way the torso crunches, they're pretty much the same as well. Now we start getting into the other difference, which is the bootleg version has the Y-jointed hips, where the regular release has T-jointed hips, which is a huge difference if you are not a fan of Y-jointed hips like me. But I mean, it still does its job. Oops, his leg just popped off here. I mean, you're gonna come into situations like that as well with a bootleg. Let's see if I can get this back on. All right, let me pause this. Okay, a little bit of action figure difficulties there, but technical difficulties, whatever you want to call it. But we're back, and he's fine now. And but he does have the Y-jointed hips, which he can go out like this. But if you want him to kick forward, you have to turn that thigh up, that thigh swivel up, and then twist it like so. So there's that. Then you have to twist the hip joint back and then twist the thigh swivel back, and then you can get his leg going forward again. So there's your differences in that articulation. And it's pretty much consistent throughout all the bootlegs, including the newly discovered Darth Vader, and also including the Sand Trooper. They all have wide joint hips, including Boba Fett as well. And here we were talking about Darth Maul here. Pretty much from the thigh swivel down, they're almost the same, exactly the same. Even the design on the boot is pretty much the same. But there is a difference in paint. Here we have a matte black finish in the boot, where here we have a shinier finish for Darth Maul. Also, another difference to let you know is that the cloak that he comes with is pretty much on par with the original release, but the head comes detached from the cloak, whereas the original release, the head was attached to the cloak, and then you had this separate unmasked head. I really, you know what, I mean, going back, I really wish Hasbro would have just given us some soft goods, like a cloak like this, which is pretty much what I use for the most part. But I don't really like plastic cloaks or capes. They just don't work out for me. I just don't like the way they look. Yeah, I mean, if you missed out on the original release, this is probably your best route to go. I mean, you can pick this guy up from anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks. And for the astronomical prices that the original release is going for, this is not a bad substitute. I still think it's well made, even though there are some differences, a little bit of lack of range of motion in the bootleg version. I still enjoy both versions, to be honest with you. It's not too bad, but I mean, what you're getting, I mean, it's so close to what the original release that to really to pay $70 to $80 now for the original release is just absurd. I'm just gonna bring in my other packaged Darth Maul, and this is another package. This is a original release. This is not a bootleg. And now I'm going to explain the differences in the packaging, in case nobody really. In case no one knows. This is the original release of Darth Maul. And as you can see here, this where it says number 2 Darth Maul right here, it's actually a little bit of a darker orange, where this kind of pops. I know it's coming off a little bit darker on camera. It's probably just my lighting. But it is a lighter orange color. Also to note that this pair of binoculars right here are actually pointed down when they come in the bootleg version. These are pointed upward, and they're pointed the other way, just to point that out. Also, like I said, with your colors, check out the reds and see how his head looks. If it's really dark, it's probably going to be a bootleg. The other big thing that you can notice is the head. Where the head is on this, it doesn't have, where you see this little bone protrusion coming out of his head, this little spike coming out of his head. It's actually all black on the bootleg version, and so is the Star Wars logo inside where it says Star Wars. It's all black. That's how you tell the bootleg from the original. Like, this has gray, the other one, the bootleg, will have black. Also, now if you flip on to the bottom on the proof of purchase, it'll also say Sand Trooper instead of Darth Maul right here. So there's another way you can tell the differences between them. But I just thought I might do this video just in case people did not know how to tell the differences between them. I've seen a lot of these bootlegs, and I've picked up a couple. I picked up a couple bootleg Boba Fett's. I'm actually planning on using those for customs for a Mandalorian army. But yeah, I've picked up a couple bootlegs, and I don't really mind it. Recently I picked up a bootleg Sand Trooper in his orange pauldron, because I never got the original release, so I missed out. And this is a good chance for those of you who've missed out on the older figures to, this is like your second chance almost. I mean, even though they're bootlegs, they're still quality figures, I think. Definitely use the same exact plastics as Hasbro is. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend these bootlegs, and I normally don't recommend bootlegs. I would say go with the original release, but they're not half bad. They're pretty sturdy. If they take a dive off the shelf, they're not going to fall apart. And yeah, don't have any issues there. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. And I'll see you guys on the flip side.